Cowboys have signed 3 people. Javonte Williams.
Tar Heel.
Solomon Thomas.
Cardinal.
Robert Jones. Solomon Thomas. Capel. Yeah. We'll have you know.
And Robert Jones, no relation to the Cowboy linebacker Robert Jones, that was on the 3-time Super Bowl champion teams of the 90s.
What do you guys want to do? You want to go one at a time and talk about each of these people?
Let's just start with the number 1 guy, the guy that signed first, the guy that, got Rico up out of here. And let's talk about him.
What did Trent Sieg do to get Rico down?
That's the deep snapper. He doesn't count. We're
Outside
talking about
guys.
new players.
Last year, the Cowboys signed 1 outside free agent in the first wave of free agency. This year, we got 3 on the first day.
Let's go.
Steven and Jerry, we salute you. That is a 300%. I'm pretty sure they're on the yacht right now. So actually, we should be saluting someone else.
The difference is last year, that outside free agent was a walk-in starter. This year, the 3 outside free agents, more like backups.
Currently, Javonte Williams is a starter.
Currently. Some may believe
he's
that
a starter.
Deuce will start.
No, people don't believe that, do they?
No.
People don't believe
It's
that.
Twitter. It's social media. It's Instagram and Facebook and those.
Running back Javonte Williams. The Cowboys needed a running back, and they got one. Are you happy with the selection of Javonte Williams over Rico Dowdle or everybody else that's out there on the market?
Because that's what it is, by the way. That they ultimately decided to go for a cheaper option other than Rico Dowdle.
So the answer in football, this is tough because as Clarence once said, in the immortal words of Clarence Hill, we do a show every day.
We do.
Play the hits.
Right this second, you would be talking about Javonte Williams as a starter.
Correct.
And if that is the case, if that were the case, then I will say this to the guy who wanted to fight me on Twitter over this, I'm right. You absolutely, positively, 100% got worse at running back if you replace Rico Dowdle with Javonte Williams.
Mm-hmm.
According to PFF, in 2024, Javonte Williams ranked 50th out of 59 running backs in the National Football League that was eligible for grades.
He's a fascinating case because if you go,
That'd be fascinating.
because when he came out of UNC as a second-round pick, he was electric. He was
a great rookie year. He ran the ball really well.
Year. I think he averaged about 4.6 yards a carry. He was fantastic in a running back 2 role.
And I think did he kill the Cowboys that year, or was it the second year?
Yeah, that was the. I think that was the
first year. 17 carries, 111 yards, something like that.
That was the blueprint.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
Is that why we signed him?
Could be. And then he tore his ACL, came back, got in the Sean Payton system, which I don't think is really that good for him, and everything plummeted. He had negative 83 rushing yards over expected the last 2 seasons. His EPA has been down. He's a guy that doesn't really kind of generate much outside of what you give him, and when you have an offensive line with a lot of questions, that's concerning. I don't hate it, though, and if this is where you were going as a backup running back, because he's good in pass protection. He's had over 40 receptions the last 2 seasons. This is a guy that you can trust to catch the ball and to block for you and to get what's there if you allow it, to give a breather for whoever your starting running back is. But to your point, if this is your RB1, there's some questions.
Is he in the same vein or remind you of what James Conner was at Arizona? Because I'm just trying to
James
put
Conner's
pieces,
good.
I think James Conner was more explosive
pieces
too.
together on this running back with this new coaching staff. Sometimes you try to look at like where did they come from?
Mm-hmm.
What are they like? And Shotty, he had his time with Marshawn Lynch and that type of back, and then Clayton had his time in Arizona with he had his time as well as with
Indianapolis
and with Taylor, and then now James Conner in Arizona. Is there some sort of resemblance?
I don't think so.
There that you would pick up from that?
I think
what they liked was $3 million.
yes.
What they liked, they cost $3 million.
And to continue down the road, if we were to say, today he would be the starting running back, you downgraded.
Yeah.
But that's not their plan.
No.
Their plan is that one of these first 3 rounds, they're picking a running back. And so Javonte Williams, versus Rico, downgrade. Javonte Williams versus Zeke as the backup, upgrade.
Yeah.
So that's, if you want to view it through the positive lens is they aren't planning on that dude to be the starter. They signed a guy cheaper than Rico because he ain't going to be the starter.
Right.
Yeah.
And
They went for the cheapest guy they could find. There is, in theory, upside because he's young. I think he came into the league at 20. I think he's 24.
He's 24. And he'll be turning 25 in April.
And he had a great rookie year, but since the knee injury, he has been, according to anything that you want to measure by, a bad NFL runner, wonderful NFL blocker, wonderful NFL catcher of the football. So he can do the other two things. He's not going to make things happen as a runner, but as a young guy just getting further and further away from a knee injury, maybe you have some optimism. But no, I think they signed him cheap because he's going to be better than Zeke, backing up Travion Henderson or whoever you're starting right now.
And the thing about it is, the point you're making is valid, that another year away from the injury, he could be better, could get back to his old self, get back to some of that rookie year stuff. He's also a straight line runner, but he's a power back. So he should be better at the goal line. He should, Cowboys had few rushing touchdowns last year. Him adding to what you're going to get in the draft, you should be a better running team, short yardage situation, goal line situation. He's a good power back.
And I think one thing to watch moving forward too, if you kind of look at his career in Denver, yes, the torn ACL is the line that things changed, right? But also after that, he got a new play caller in Sean Payton. And if you look at the differences between the Broncos offense between before Sean Payton and after, they're vast. And I think Javonte Williams specifically in 2022 was running in an offensive scheme that was more reminiscent of what Clayton Adams and Brian Schottenheimer like to do, frankly. And I'm wondering if that's where they said, you know what, 2 years away from the injury, he looked good in that system. He looked kind of out of place with a more vision-based thing that they had to do under Sean Payton. I wonder if we can get the 2022 version of him and put him in an offense that's more familiar with what we're doing. That's one thing I'm wondering. I'm not sure if that's the case. But that's a question I have moving forward and into training camp about Javonte Williams.
He'll look great high-fiving Omarion Hampton when he's on his way
onto
the field.
Backfield, baby.
Yeah, all North Carolina backfield.
Jizz everywhere.
Sir, you cannot. There's no chance you can say that.
You can't say that.
At all.
Okay.
No. But he already did.
Too late now.
Second guy that the Cowboys have
Go
signed.
Heels, baby.
Solomon Thomas, former number 3 overall pick from Capel. That would have been the 2017 draft. Went from being he's
the third guy, actually. Second guy was great, Robert Jones.
Well, yeah, but Robert Jones, I don't want to do second because Robert Jones, I don't even know what to do with.
Who?
Robert Jones.
Who?
Robert, not Mike.
Who?
It's just Robert.
It's not.
Thank you for picking it.
So Robert Jones started 17 games for the Dolphins last year. Didn't do a great job. And honestly, that's the one signing that I don't even know what to do with. I don't know what to say about it because he has, in a 4-year NFL career, played, except for his rookie year, for like one game, I think it was week 16, he played right tackle. He's played 2,000 snaps, and they've all been at guard.
Yeah.
So you signed a guard
right,
who started last year, wasn't great.
It 30 starts, actually, at guard in Miami.
And so is he your presumed right guard starter? Do they think he's better than Brock Hoffman? If they don't think he's better than Brock Hoffman, why is he here? Is he better than TJ Bass? Did you just get an 8th offensive lineman?
Competition.
And depth.
It's depth. You got a guy who can, I saw you tweeted earlier, but from a guy like Omar Kelly, who covers the Miami Dolphins, this is a guy, he said, you can play your swing offensive guard. So whether right or left guard in a pinch, right? So I'm not saying that he's going to move Tyler Smith, but in the pinch, if Tyler Smith gets hurt or something like that happens, he can play both left and right guard. And competition is good. Like Brock Hoffman should not be given the job heading into training.
No, we should have drafted a guy that's better than all these guys.
And maybe you do. And maybe you absolutely do. And now you can try to move pieces around. But like there should be competition for Brock Hoffman. He has done nothing in this league and nothing on this team where jobs should be handed to him heading into OTAs and minicamp. There should be a realistic competition that goes on at those positions. And I should say at every other position except left guard. Yeah. That position should, like you said before, you should walk in there and you should go, all right, here we go, guys. Tyler Smith, you're playing left guard. Know it, get familiar with it. That's where you'll be for the duration of this season and your career. Yep. The rest of you mofos,
where do you want to go? Try.
Here's a pool stick. Break it up how you want. Only a couple of you walking out of this room.
Here's my problem with the Dallas Cowboys, because I don't hate this signing at all. I think that this is a guy that you have starting experience, because if you look at some of their offensive linemen after their starters, not a lot of guys with starting experience. You know, TJ Bass has had a little bit of playing time. Austin Richards they like, but you don't know about Austin Richards when he gets in from a starting perspective. At least with Rob Jones, this is a guy that can start. But this is my problem. This is a guy you sign on April 11th, not March 11th. This is a guy that you fill out your roster with after you prioritize other important things. My question is the fact that you're prioritizing a Chuma Edoga replacement on day one of the NFL free agency. That's a problem. That is a huge issue. That means you're not prioritizing the right things. And I know someone even tweeted at me, but they were in on Charvarius Ward. I don't know about that, by the way. They were in on Dre Greenlaw. That's a little bit more believable. But they weren't going to go to the depths to get them. So that means they really weren't prioritizing, quote unquote, what they were prioritizing. I think that they need to reevaluate how they participate in these waves. Yes, they went out in the first wave. They also did so with floaties and a skimboard. They didn't do a great job with it. And frankly, that's my big problem with how they've operated the last 24 hours.
Selectively aggressive, sir.
Passively aggressive.
Passively aggressive.
I love just to steal what Vance Williams said. He said sad. Selectively aggressive Dallas equals sad.
I like that. I like it.
You know what? Put it on a t-shirt.
That might be our headline tomorrow.
Put it on a t-shirt.
I like it.
That might be a headline. That is a headline. That's a headline right there.
That's a headline. Where were you before the show?
Yeah, where were you at,
before the show?
Man, that's a headline right there. That's a headline.
When they've been fighting about that.
I support upgrading anything that you can, but it's just hard to move the needle at all when you're talking about, well, they might have upgraded Osa's backup. They might have upgraded the depth at guard.
Yeah.
They might have upgraded the backup running back. When the goal is to win 5 more games than you did a year ago, and it's like, okay, because I'm a big proponent of you do have to fill your roster up to be able to go draft. But now when you draft, in theory, you're going to add 2, maybe 3 starting caliber players. And to expect rookies to just dominate the NFL is kind of reaching.
No.
So it's, after the first wave of free agency without making any trades, I do really, really struggle with how are you going to tell me this team's going to be better?
Right.
We all silly like the mayor.